Here's Brody Brazil.
You know, I realized the other day that I have something in my background and experience that actually goes against something I talk a lot about in my own line of work of sports broadcasting, and that is a home ice, home court, home field advantage. Whatever you want to call it based on the respective sport, we always think that there is a specific home advantage when a team and its players are playing in their home city at their home venue. By the way, these photos, I realize they're distracting. Yeah, that's me in Vancouver with the Green Men, like more than a decade ago. And then the photo far left is me on the hockey boards in Pittsburgh. Look, the Stanley Cup final logo is on the ice with the microphone. No, I don't know what I was doing there, but I was on the road. That's the point of this. I've done enough road trips to see the road side of it and the home side of it for sports teams. Oh yeah, I also forgot to mention there, that airplane, that 747-100 that's taken off right there, the SP, that airplane, I was on. It was a Sharks charter to go to Europe in the start of the 2010-11 season, went to Germany and then Sweden. So again, I've done a lot of road trips. I understand this from the athlete side of it. I do think there is a specific home ice court field advantage, but it may not be what you think. And there also may be some equal road advantages that nobody ever talks about. Let's first give credit here to Brooksgate, who always puts out interesting information. I love this infographic here. Percentage of total games since 2020 that were won by the home team. So we should establish that it's different based on sport. Like college basketball, 68.1% of the time, the home team wins the game since 2020. Sorry, that's kind of crazy. College football, also very much a home-heavy favorite environment, up at 63.1%. But then you get into the professional ranks, and it's a lot more maybe common to where it should be. The NBA at 55%, the NHL at 53%, NFL also at 53%, and baseball at 53.1%. So basketball, a little bit more home and road dependent, but the NHL, NFL, and Major League Baseball all right at 53%. So that tells me something, that there is some specificity of 53%. Like it's very precise, and yeah, the home team has just a 3% advantage more than 50-50. College sports, maybe younger athletes, maybe they're more prone to struggling on the road or feeling more confident or performing better at home, comfortable at home, whatever it is. So I'll cross off the two college sports there. I mostly want to talk about professional sports here and the home versus road advantages. Let's talk about all the obvious home advantages. And we talk about a home ice court field advantage. Here's the things that come to my mind based on experience. Number one, you get to eat your own food. I know that sounds crazy, right? But how you feel, your digestive system, you get the choice of when you want to eat. You don't have to go somewhere for food. It's right here at your house. It's the stuff you normally eat. It's not going to give you a stomach ache. You're not going to wonder what they cook this with. Eating your own food, there is something to be said about that, to making your body perform optimally. Sleeping in your own bed. You know how important sleep is just overall, but especially sometimes, and I've had this problem too. In a hotel, it's 50-50 for me. Sometimes I sleep like a baby, and I can, if I don't set the alarm, I just slept 10 hours, which I never get to do anymore. But sometimes if it's quiet, if I put on the eye mask and the earplugs and the blackout curtain is up and the hotel's not noisy and nobody's checking out at 6 a.m., I can sleep forever in a hotel bed. And it's usually pretty comfortable. Other times, the air conditioner's too loud, or something's making noise, or I'm stressed out about something, and I sleep terribly in a hotel room because it's not your bed, it's not your room. Now, professional athletes are pretty good at being flexible and sleeping anywhere, but those two things right there are what professional athletes mostly talk about. Eating your own food, sleeping in your own bed as home advantages, right? It's all the setup. It's not even getting to the arena or the stadium and playing the game. It's how you are in the hours away from sports. You're also obviously in your regular time zone, whether it's west to east or east to west. If you're going coast to coast, I mean, your body clock instantly is going to have to shift by 3 hours, and that is not easy. I've always gone by the math and the method that for every time zone you change, it really truly takes a full day to have your body adjust to that new time zone. So that alone is also something easy to understand. Now, there are some specific advantages based on sport and the rules of the game that favor the home team. Like in baseball, you get the last at-bats. You get to walk it off. A road team can't do that. Or in hockey, you get last change. Like those things come with the nature of being the home versus road team, but those are written into the rules of the game. There's also things like the crowd and the mental edge you might have playing in front of your home crowd. You're tired. It's the end of the game. I don't want to say you're not as motivated, but you need that extra boost. You look up in the stands or you hear them chanting your name. Yeah, that's going to give you that boost. Sorry. I need a boost. Versus the opponent fans yelling at you and telling you you're a bum and telling you you're terrible and, chanting against your every move. So there is a crowd and mental edge and the boost that they can give you. And lastly, familiarity with the venue. And I mean like not where the locker room door is. I mean, well, that could be it too, but how does the field play? What are the ice conditions like? How do the boards play? Like a puck off the boards, the dimensions of a baseball field. There's a lot of things that make small home field ice court advantages when you have some familiarity with the venue. But those things are all obvious. What people never talk about is the road team and the advantages they have in playing a home team at their home stadium. The road team has some things actually going in their favor. Now, these might not be obvious. Number one, fewer distractions. And I'll say this as a parent, I'll say this as a husband. If I go on a road trip and my family responsibilities as a husband and as a dad are taken away from me, like I'm just not with my family, I got a lot more free time. I'm maybe more rested. My mind is more centered on the task at hand. This is mostly a business trip. And I understand a lot of professional athletes are younger and they're not in family situations, but for those older players who are, man, woman, that doesn't matter. It's an older player with a family. Yeah, a business trip is a business trip, and you're mostly only centered on the work and the task at hand. There's just less distractions. You're here to do a job. You're going to be on this trip for 3, 5, 12 days, whatever. You're going to do the job. And there's not a lot of other family or auxiliary stuff going on to kind of get in your time and space and agenda. There's no driving. There's no planning when you're on a professional sports road trip. Like you take the bus. Well, you land on the plane in your city. You take the bus right off the plane, straight to the hotel. Then you get on a bus to go back to the arena and then back to the hotel. And then the bus will take you back to the airport and you get on the next plane. So even something as simple as not having to drive or fight traffic to get to a game, there's no planning. All of that is taken out of your hand. When you're traveling on a sports road trip, it's literally this. What time does the bus leave? That's it. That's all you have to worry about. 3:35 bus? Great. I'll be on the bus at 3:30. Done. By the way, don't ever miss a sports team bus. Trust me. I haven't, and you don't ever want to do that. Maybe you get the ability for more rest on the road. Like I said, you're away from your family. You're away from your friends. You're away from responsibility. This is a time to get your body healed up, and the more rested you are, maybe the better you perform. A camaraderie boost. This is largely never talked about, but when you're on these trips and it's just you and your teammates, there's a lot of team dinners. There's a lot of bonding. There's a lot of team activities and downtime. And when you have that relationship, that extra forged relationship with your teammates, you might go out that night or the next night and perform that much better because of that camaraderie boost that the home team doesn't have, right? They don't go to each other's hotel rooms after practice or whatnot, or after the plane lands. But on the road, that's what you do. I would also say that for some teams, and there's certain media situations, if it's a big media market, if you get away from your team's media market and there's not as many reporters or pundits like following your team and asking questions and trying to do interviews, maybe being out of the spotlight is a great mental release, being on the road. So I don't know if anybody has ever thought about these things, but they do exist. I've seen them firsthand, and they are advantages. But obviously, there are some road disadvantages too, and I'm not going to spend a ton of time. These are obvious. Travel fatigue. I mean, just being at altitude sometimes takes it out of your body. Switching time zones. Oh my gosh. Like we got to play a hockey game at 10 a.m. Pacific time. My body clock is not ready for that. Overnight flights. I mean, yeah, you play a game in Dallas, you're done, I don't know, 10:30, 11 Dallas time. You're on the plane by 11:45 and you fly out to Florida. Then it's 3:30 in the morning by the time you land and check in at the hotel, 4 a.m. Like that is a hard, and if you can't sleep on the plane, that's hard on the body. It really is, even if you've got some days off. Usually less practice days. Mostly I'm talking about basketball season and hockey season, right? In baseball, they don't do practice days. And in football, they do all their practice at home. Then they fly out to the city, play a game, and then fly back. So in basketball and hockey, less practice days. It's hard, right, to maintain your season when you're on the road. The mental edge of, getting yelled at by fans, getting heckled and ridiculed. That happens. And as much as they're professionals and as much as they try to block that stuff out, at some point, some of it can get to you, whether you let it lead on that it is or not. Some of that stuff can get to you. And then I would also say the start versus the end of road trips. It's one thing to be on a 2-game road trip, bang, bang, you're done, you're home. It's another thing to be on a 5, 6, 7-game road trip for 2 weeks. And I'll tell you, by games 5, 6, and 7, and you're literally like this, I don't even know what city I'm in right now. Just get me home. I just want to be home. Let's just get these games over with. I'm going to try my best, but just get me home. I am done with this trip, right? So the start of trips, you're a little bit more energetic. You're feeling that vibe. You're doing it. By the end, you might run out of gas. So definitely a distinct road trip disadvantage. But again, I just wanted to point out here, home teams do have some slight advantage, but I think road teams in a lot of cases have an advantage that nobody talks about, and maybe sometimes that equals out. Again, 53% is kind of the average benefit of a home team to win about 53% of the games on average is not 50-50. So there is a slight edge. It's just not as big as you think, and it probably isn't exactly what you think. Did any of that surprise you? Did you find any of that interesting or insightful or brand new to you? Let me know in the comments section down below. Also, while you're down there, thumbs up on this video. I would really appreciate that. Helps me and this video and this channel. And one more quick request. If you're not already, make sure to go down there and subscribe to this channel. That way I can definitely see you back here next time. Yikes.